What if the simplest cell in your body is more complex than a futuristic city? Welcome to the Bible Difficulties and Answers podcast. I'm your host, Lance Smith, your guide through the mind-blowing mysteries of existence. We're in week 8 of our 20-week Sunday series, diving into J. Steve Miller's Faithless, Not Blind. Check the show notes for links, resources, and brain-bending extras. Last week, we marveled at the universe's orderly laws, referencing Sir Fred Hoyle's shift toward a purposeful design. Today, we're tackling Exhibit 8, the vast complexity of the earliest cells, the origin of life, exploring why the simplest cells are anything but simple. Strap in for a cosmic journey. Let's dive into a question that sparks debates brighter than a starship. How did the first living cells, mind-bogglingly complex, pop into existence? In Faithless, Not Blind, pages 52 to 57, Miller argues that the staggering complexity of even the simplest cells points to a purposeful, intelligent design. Picture a cell as a microscopic factory with protein machines, DNA blueprints, and chemical assembly lines all working in perfect harmony. Could this intricate system assemble itself by chance, like a 3D printer spitting out a fully functional spaceship from a pile of plastic? Let's unpack the evidence like scientists peering through a cosmic microscope. Miller starts with Sir Fred Hoyle, the astrophysicist we mentioned last week. Hoyle, a former atheist, calculated the odds of a functional protein forming by chance at 1 in 10 to the 40,000th power, an astronomical number that makes winning the lottery look like a sure bet. To put it in perspective, there are only 10 to the 80th power atoms in the universe. In The Mathematics of Evolution and Evolution from Space, co-authored with N.C. Wickramasinghe, Hoyle likens these odds to a solar system full of blind people solving Rubik's Cubes simultaneously, or a tornado assembling a Boeing 747 from a junkyard. His conclusion? The idea that cells formed by chance in Earth's primordial soup is nonsense of high order. Hoyle, knighted for his contributions to astrophysicists, reluctantly embraced a super intellect behind the physics, chemistry, and biology. Imagine finding a perfectly programmed robotic city in the middle of a jungle, with drones delivering supplies, solar panels powering lights, and computers coordinating every task. Would you assume a lightning strike coded its software and welded its currents? Or would you infer a brilliant engineer? The simplest cell, with its proteins and DNA, is like that robotic city, far too complex for random chance. Miller cites Hoyle's odds to argue that the naturalistic view, life emerging by accident, requires believing in miracles without a miracle maker. The theistic view suggests a purposeful designer, crafting life with intention. Psalm 139:14 captures it. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. It's as if the cells are a masterpiece signed by a cosmic artist. Skeptics might counter with Richard Dawkins' argument from the God delusion. Dawkins suggests that with a billion planets, a 1 in a billion chance of life forming becomes plausible. But here's the rub. Dawkins, an animal behaviorist with no astrophysicist credentials, pulls this number out of thin air, ignoring Hoyle's rigorously calculated 10 to the 40,000th power. You know, the more you dig into Dawkins' writings, the less impressive they seem. Bold claims with just so little depth. It's like betting on a horse race with made-up odds, leaving his statistically informed science feeling like a hopeful guess. Miller notes that Hoyle, a Cambridge-trained mathematician who won the prestigious Mayhew Prize, published his odds in 1981 for all to critique, while Dawkins offers absolutely no justification. Philosopher Antony Flew, a titan of 20th century atheism, provides a striking counterpoint. On page 55, Miller highlights Flew's 2004 conversion to theism, driven by DNA's almost unbelievable complexity. Flew argued that the intricate arrangements needed for life suggest intelligence. Miller also recommends Michael Denton's Evolution, a Theory in Crisis, for its microbiologist perspective on life's complexity, and Stephen Meyer's Signature in the Cell for a 600-page dive into DNA's evidence for design. These sources, listed on page 57, paint cells as engineered marbles, not random flukes. Dawkins argues that evolution shows simple life can become complex. But Miller counters on page 56. Evolution requires living cells to start with. No cells, no evolution. Dawkins' hope that someone will explain how non-life became life is just that, a hope, not evidence. Where's the extraordinary evidence for such an extraordinary naturalistic claim? It's like expecting a recipe for a gourmet cake to emerge from a flower explosion. The theistic view, backed by Hoyle and Flew, offers a coherent explanation, a purposeful intelligence behind life's complexity. Romans 1:20 sums it up. Through everything God made, they can clearly see His invisible qualities. Has this argument swayed minds? Absolutely. Hoyle's shift to acknowledging a super intellect and Flew's philosophical U-turn show its power. Have you ever marveled at life's complexity, like seeing a cell under a microscope or reading about DNA? Share your story or questions with me at BibleDifficultiesAndAnswers@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. For more, check Hoyle's The Intelligent Universe from 1983 or Evolution from Space, especially the introduction and Chapter 9. Denton's Evolution, A Theory in Crisis, and Meyer's Signature in the Cell offer rigorous research, and they're all linked in the show notes. Let's weigh the evidence like detectives at a crime scene. The naturalistic view, life from chance, is like expecting a symphony to write itself from random notes scattered by the wind. The theistic view, as Miller argues, is like hearing a masterful composition orchestrated with purpose. It's not blind faith, it's following the clues. If you're banking on chance, take a closer look. The evidence might rewire your perspective. Next Sunday, Episode 9, we'll zoom out from cells to the complexity of living creatures, exploring how their intricate designs build on the cellular marvels we're uncovered today. The show notes include links to Miller's book, Hoyle's works, Denton's Evolution, A Theory in Crisis, Meyer's Signature in the Cell, and Flew's There Is a God. Resources as gripping as a sci-fi thriller. Connect with us on our Facebook page, share this episode with a friend who loves big questions, and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, or wherever you listen. It helps us reach more curious minds. All episodes are at BibleDifficultiesAndAnswers.podbean.com. I'm Lance Smith, wishing you all good luck, good health, and God bless. So long, everybody.